What's cracking, everybody? New video, new reaction. So, someone had asked me to check out Jay Williams. I don't know who Jay Williams is. So I went and looked and I saw this. This one, a couple of them popped out, but this one is entitled, How I Went From Being a Prisoner to a YouTuber. Jay Williams, Let's Live Life. Well, I was a prisoner and I'm a YouTuber and I want to live life. So I'm interested right now. I don't know if this is going to be a funny one, a serious one. I don't know, but shout out to Jay Williams before it starts, just in case I start catting out.
Man, you already know what it is. Jay Williams, Let's Live Life, and we're back. It is Saturday. I'm off work, clean shaved, and I took the advice of one of the viewers.
He said it might be Sunday by the time you see this. It's Friday, big dog, and it's been a few months. But I see you.
Get in the comment section and let me know if you could tell me what's different about today's video. With all that being said, blowing up on YouTube, becoming successful after prison. Prison at one point was my curse. Never did I think it would become my gift. Never did I think that prison would play anything positive in my life. But I was wrong. I was very wrong. I could only see it for what it was. When you're going through things at times, all you see is the bad. You don't see the possibility for good. You don't see the future. You see that moment. And those moments were my life for a very long time. I remember the first time I spoke in front of a large group while in prison. And I was thinking about that today. I was thinking about how it felt, the feedback. And believe it or not, all that led me to doing YouTube. Facts. Today we're going to cover that. That first time speaking in front of a room full of people.
Uh-oh. So far, I've done a lot of listening, but I have to stop now and then because this is a reaction video. I just noticed this video is 36 minutes long. We definitely won't be doing that. That would make this a 2-hour video, possibly. But I'm interested. And I'm glad that he was able to, like, unfortunately, a small amount of convicts are able to realize that incarceration can be a blessing if you take a step back from your own ego and realize why you're in prison. When we choose to engage in criminality and live that outlaw lifestyle, we tell society, fuck your laws and everything that you live by, because we have our own set of rules, our own set of laws that at times are fluid if we're keeping it real. And we're going to live by those. And those that do make that determination have to hold themselves accountable to that. You get busted, you go and do your damn time. But we always tend to blame the cops. That's fucking cop, man, and motherfucker this, and that fucking DA, the old punk ass jury. Because it's easier to blame the cop, the DA, the jury, and the judge, and maybe even your parents, some people, than to realize I made the cop arrest me because I chose to break a law. I forced the DA to pick what charges he was going to charge me with because of the things that I had done. I went before a judge, kept him employed again because of the things I chose to do. The same thing with a jury. Those of us that realize in prison that everything we're going through in prison is because of our decisions, we come out better people. those that go to prison and who are actually innocent, that's a different thing. I don't know how they do what they do. But let's get it.
Tell them my story. Did they laugh? Did they ridicule me? Boo, you suck. Did they listen? How did that go? How did that change the course of the future? And little did I know at that time that I actually had a knack for talking to people, that people wanted to listen.
Side note, again, Jay Williams was cracking. I don't know where Jay Williams is from, but I'm thrown completely off by his accent. It's like I'm hearing a southern type of accent, I think, but then I feel like I'm hearing like maybe it's hip hop. Maybe his accent is hip hop. I don't know, but I swear I'm hearing like a touch of New York or East Coast mixed with the South. I know you guys don't care, but it's just me. I'm listening and I'm like, I don't know.
That everything I've been through in life, it wasn't in vain. There were people that needed my message. And to this very day, I spread that message. I share that message. I tell my stories hoping that others will listen and not travel the road that I traveled. You don't have to go down that road. For some of y'all, it's not a choice. It's a way of life. It's something you're born into. But for most, it's a choice.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. Let me go back here. That to me is, hold on, let me see. Let me go.
I tell my stories hoping that others will listen and not travel the road that I traveled. You don't have to go down that road. Mm-hmm. For some of y'all, it's not a choice.
How?
It's a way of life. It's something you're born into.
How? I was born into a very violent home. I was born into a house of criminality. My parents were selling drugs, partying, using drugs, drinking. But I had a choice. Like, you know, when you're a child and somebody has to change your diaper and feed you with a bottle, you don't have a choice when that diaper gets changed. You don't have a choice on when they're going to feed you. But when you get old enough to feed yourself and get an understanding of what's right and what's wrong, and you choose to live a certain lifestyle, that is a choice. So I'm going to disagree with him. I like the message so far, but just for me personally, stuff like that, I think that we have to check that immediately when we hear stuff like that. You know, it's like people in recovery. You know, what do they call it, man? Reservations. When somebody is an alcoholic and they say, you know, I don't want to drink anymore, man. I will never drink because I know how bad it is for me. I've lost so much stuff, man. But you know what? If my child died, I would probably drink again. That's a reservation. You've already made it in your mind where if this happens, I'm going to do this. That's a choice. I don't know anybody that doesn't have a choice here. You know, I can think of, you know, in Africa, the child soldiers, they don't have a choice. You know, they're snatched up and, you know, made to do stuff. But here, in the criminal life and criminal lifestyle, that's a choice. So far, I'm with them except on that.
But for most, it's a choice. I'm going to say this before we start the video. Watch the decisions you make, because they can play a major part in how your life turns out. 10 years in prison to being successful on YouTube. The money, the fame, the beginning. You know I done seen it. You know I done lived it. So let's relive it. So where did it all start? Towards the end of my bid, 2 years left. They came and they told me to pack it up one day. I'm being transferred. For some inmates, that's a good day. That's something they want to hear. It wasn't something I wanted to hear. I'd been at Greensville Correctional Center a very long time. I was what you considered dug in. I was a vet. I knew that institution, the officers, the ins and outs, how things worked, like the back of my hand. Now, it had its good parts, it had its bad parts. The good thing being, it was one of the last real penitentiaries in Virginia, in the way it moved, the convict code, the fact of doing things and being able to get away with it. You could do that there. Just any and everything you could think about was taking place at Greensville. People knew me. You got to think now. This is a place I've been at 8 years. People know me. They know what I'm about. Some of these guys have been there 20 years, but they knew me there. If you had been there for a certain amount of time, years, you knew who I was. You had ran across me. You would see me on the yard. You'd see me on the way pile. Several different times y'all would see me in handcuffs, going to the hole, coming back from the hole.
I kind of, I think, get what he's saying. To me, it just boils down to comfort. When you're in prison, we like an established program. We like to know what's going to happen. You want to piss off a convict? Change his program. So I get that part. As far as people knowing you in that prison, we have a saying in prison that a man's reputation will always precede him. So if you go to another institution, people are going to know you there too, especially if you've been down 8 years. But I do know that change is hard on a lot of convicts. I guess that's, I don't know. I'm trying to wrap my head. That has to be what it is, the comfort thing, because even moving from one building to another is a bitch. But I mean, maybe he's going to explain it and I jumped the gun.
I had made a name for myself there. I wasn't looking forward to being shipped. Anytime you get shipped, you got to start all over. All that work you put in, all the fights, all the standing up for yourself, the going to collect your money, you ain't going to just walk all over me. None of that means anything. You get to a new prison, you got to start all over.
Why? Why? Your reputation should have preceded you. I don't know, but then again, I don't know that maybe the system, is different over there. But I think that if he was there 8 years, I'm sure there's people that were there with him 3 years prior to the transfer, and maybe he's going to go into that. Maybe he's just talking. He's getting his mindset back to prior to leaving. These are the things that were going through his mind. But I've never encountered that out here where somebody is going to be put up for a transfer. You're just going from one cell to another. We used to tell the cops, what are you going to do? Move me from one cell to another? Let's go.
I knew that. I said, man, they're going to transfer me. It ain't going to be long. And no sooner I get there, I'm going to get into it with somebody. The craziest part about it was when I found out I was going to Greensville. Let's go back to the beginning. When I left the jail, I went to receiving. Then from receiving, you go to the prison you're going to be at based on the severity of your charge. And you go to this place called Powhatan. They got the bullpen. It's where all the different prison buses meet up. And say a prison bus comes from 8 hours away and they got an inmate on this bus that needs to go to that prison. They're going to swap inmates throughout all these buses. And that bus is going to return back to that prison. They call my name Williams. I got my little bag lunch they had given me. I'm shackled up, orange jumpsuit, chain around my waist, leg irons, black box. You're going to Greensville. That means go stand over by the Greensville bus until they open the door and then they'll help me get on it. I remember when they said I was going to Greensville, it was me and a couple other guys. Dudes were like, oh man, that's gangland. Like, that's bad. You're going to a place where if you're not gang affiliated, it's not going to be a good day for you. I get there, and in the time I'm there,
See, that's the thing. That's the thing about California that I think is the reason why I know is the reason why things are different than other joints. I mean, other prison systems, other state prison systems. California has the politics so ingrained within all the factions where if this guy comes to California, he's white. The Woods are going to holler at him. It's not going to be, oh, you're not a gang member. Let's get him. It's not going to be, Oh, you're from Virginia, let's get them. No, it's, hey, with all due respect, here's my paperwork. Can I see yours? Boom. Okay, here's your care package, this and that. You know, your cellies and whatever it is, right? But see, other states, because the politics are so different, or maybe they don't have, I don't know, but that's why people can be preyed upon. That's why people can be raped and have their shit took or whatever. But out here, you're going to pick the group you're going to run with. You're going to follow their rules, and you're not going to be preyed upon because of what's been established out here.
See some of the most heinous things you could think of. I see men do things to other men that you can only think exist in movies. Like you watch it take place, and you're like, this ain't life, man. This ain't real. I'm dreaming. Like most of y'all have seen like videos on like different channels or Discovery Channel, stuff like that, of someone being attacked with a weapon. But until you've actually been there and you've felt like the reverb, you felt the impact of somebody holding a weapon, hitting somebody with it, and every time they hit them so hard that the palm of their fist hits their body. You can actually feel the echo, almost like it's hitting you. Those are things I became used to. I knew that in being there was a certain level of respect. You had to carry yourself a certain way, and if you didn't carry yourself a certain way, you knew what the consequences were. So my boss comes to me one day, and he tells me, hey, I got the news. I'm not believing. He told me, I'm going to miss you, man. You're a good dude. And you're going to go home, and you're going to be okay. At this point, I still had about 2 years left. You going to miss me? Where am I going? What, are they locking me up? What'd I do? I think I'm going to the hole. He's like, they're shipping you. Now, you got to remember, I've made friends here. I've got guys here that are doing life sentences that I've met and that I've gotten closer to. And I know that in the moment they ship me, I'll never see them again. So there's that whole having to say goodbye process, which, thinking back, that sucked so bad. So I made my rounds. I talked to everybody.
I'm just thinking, sorry about that. I'm thinking like, so he was sent to prison. I don't know, because he said they have a point system. California has a point system, and he's sent to but maybe the lifer. I don't know how I'm just thinking like he's making, he's said that like that was the worst prison or penitentiary in Virginia, and I'm wondering how the point system works over there for someone with a 10-year term to get. Unless he had terms prior. If he had prior terms, then yeah. But if this was his first number, to get a 10-year term and go to the worst prison in the state, that doesn't really happen out here. 10-year term, man, unless you had prior, because they have to bump you all the way up to level 4 points to hit them worst prisons out here. But I'll tell you this, I'm sure it's a lot better to be in maximum and in a cell than in minimum in a dorm.
And nobody was happy to see me leave. Everybody was in disbelief. Woody was in disbelief. Dudes didn't want to see me leave. Like one of those things like, damn, we lost a good one today, man. Jay's getting transferred. And these guys have been seeing me day in and day out, year after year. They've been there every step of the way for everything that I've gone through. And now it's like, just like that. I'm being sent on a bus. Their life goes on. I'm not a part of it, and they're not a part of mine. I initially get to Indian Creek, and they get us all off the bus. And guys were checking in straight from the rip. They'd already been to this place before. They knew what it was about, and they was like, no, not even participating in the program. Y'all go ahead, put me in the hole. Ship me to Supermax, take all my good time. I can't do this, right? They take me, shave, make sure I'm shaved. They take pictures of all my tattoos, strip me down, turn around, show us. They photograph my whole body. So I go into my housing unit. I get my bed. I meet some people.
They make you shave?
Some people. I start to blend in. Right away, I realize I don't think I'm going to make it here. And when I say make it here, this is a therapeutic community camp where you're supposed to take accountability. So you have inmates telling on other inmates. I find out the dudes that are writing me up. I'm feeling like I'm being snitched on. Yo, who wrote me up? And I go to the one dude and he knows. I'm like, yo, who wrote me up? And he's like, I can't tell you that. Like, I'll get in trouble. But he had a folder laying there. It was a blue folder. And in that folder were all the write-ups Well, at the bottom of the write-up, it's got the inmate's name that wrote you off. So he kind of hints to like, there's the folder. I look over, I see the folder.
You know what this reminds me of? For those of you that are old enough to remember, there was a juvenile program out here in California called Boys Republic. I think it was in Chino, California. And I never went to Boys Republic, but I remember homeboys of mine that went there, and they used to call it Rat Republic. They were saying like shit like that. Like you would get there, and then somebody would be like, "Hey, fool, you want to smoke some weed?" Like, hell yeah. I'm like, 8 in the morning. And then in the morning, they will blaze you out, and then they had some kind of group or something, and then they'd be like, yeah, I don't know what the fuck it was, community. I don't know what the fuck they called their groups. I just remember hearing the stories about it, eh? And the bottles would be like, hey, I got something I want to say. Like, what? Yeah, old boy over here that just got here was smoking weed this morning, and you know what I mean? But that's what we had heard about it. They called it Rat Republic, Boys Republic. And I remember my homeboys that went, I think all of them escaped. They were like, man, I can't be in no shit like this. I had never heard of it being in an adult institution though. So I'm sure, yeah, if he's saying he was in the most high powered joint in Virginia, and then to go to that, like that people ask me about getting out after over 24 years and then coming into society, man, that ain't nothing compared to having to go into some shit like that.
He walks off. I go through the folder. I find my name, and it's a bunch of my names. My name's on like 10 different papers for everything from, just petty stuff to serious stuff. Y'all ain't just telling on the little stuff. You talking about tattooing and this and this. So I approach one of the guys out back of the building. He gets all defensive and tries to make some noise. There's a guard not far from us, and I light into him. Boom, boom. Like, you want to tell on me? I just come from a place that most of these men have never been. The average age there was 17 to 22. These guys just were not used to what I was used to. They take me to the hole. I do my time in the hole. I come back out. They put me in another building. It'd be like a cycle of events of me spazzing out. To the point that the counselor comes to me. She says she's going to put me in the warehouse. She takes me over to meet Mr. Chalmers. Mr. Chalmers runs VCE's, Virginia Correctional Enterprise, which is the company that builds stuff, make chemicals, drive forklifts, unload trucks, and this giant warehouse there. She says, I'm going to put you over there so you don't have to do this group stuff all day. But you're still going to have to do one group a week. I thought in her saying I had to do one group a week meant I just needed to come sit in the chair and just listen to whoever's up there talking. I didn't know that I would in due time have to speak. So once a week, they would call me back to the building, Williams Turner building for group, and everybody pulls their chairs up, and either the counselor gets up and speak.
All right. I'm 10 minutes in. With my motor mouth, that's probably 20 minutes already. Maybe I should have, I'm sure this is a compelling story, and I'm going to just say, you guys go ahead and check it out. I thought it would be more, like, boom, I was in prison, this and that, this is what I've done since I've been out or whatever, something like that. But this story is going to take a long time to get. Let me see over here. Hold on. I wouldn't know. Pull up 4%. Oh, what? Anyways, I don't know if you guys want me to do a part 2. Maybe I'll watch the video and get over to where he's more into the YouTube stuff. I do remember his name popping up a few months back. I guess his channel had got taken from him. He got into a business venture, and the people he went into business with tried to take his channel, and then luckily he got his channel back. He's got a lot of subscribers. He gets a lot of views. But I'm not gonna be able to do this. Like I said, we're 10 minutes in, and we're in the second institution, where I'm sure obviously he learned a lot about himself, and that's why he is successful out here and successful on YouTube. But I just can't. There's no way I'm gonna put you guys through it, because I'm sure you guys wouldn't watch if I did this whole video. So with that, I'm gonna bring this one to a close. Everybody, please be safe, be smart, and tell the ones you love that you love them. I'm out.